إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا. من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له. وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون. يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء واتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والأرحام إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما. أما بعد فإن أصدق الحديث كلام الله تبارك وتعالى وخير الهدي هدي محمد صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم وشر الأمور محدثاتها وكل محدثة بدعة وكل بدعة ضلالة وكل ضلالة في النار. All thanks and praises to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We thank Him, we praise Him, we seek His help and we seek His forgiveness. And we seek refuge in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala from the evil within our own selves and from our bad deeds. Whoever Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guides, no one can lead astray. And whoever Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala lead astray, no one can guide. And I bear witness that there is no one worthy of worship except Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And that Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam is his final messenger. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, in the meaning of which, O you who believe, be dutiful to Allah, obey Allah the way He ought to be obeyed, and do not die except in the state of Islam. O mankind, be dutiful to your Lord, the one that created you from one soul, and from it He created its mate, and from them both He created many men and women. So fear Allah through whom you demand your mutual rights. Allah indeed is all watcher over you. O you who believe, fear Allah, obey Allah, and always speak the truth. He will guide you to do righteous good deeds and He would forgive you your sins. And whoever obeys Allah and His Messenger sallallahu alayhi wa sallam has indeed achieved the great success. The best speech is the speech of Allah, the Quran. The best guidance is the guidance of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And the worst of the matters in the religion are the new invented matters in the religion, and every new invented matter in the religion, bid'ah, is an astray, and every astray is in the hellfire. Since the purpose of our creation is to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala alone, and because of that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created the heavens and the earth, and we're created and we're on the face of earth to fulfill that purpose, to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala alone. And there's no way for a person to worship the creator of the heavens and the earth unless they follow the messengers of Allah, the final messenger Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. All ways and paths to salvation, to Jannah, to the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is blocked once the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam was sent, unless people are behind him, following him. He was the best example to mankind for them to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in every aspect in their life. وَقَدْ كَانَ لَكُمْ فِي رَسُولِ اللَّهِ أُسْوَةٌ حَسَنَةٌ لِمَنْ كَانَ يَرْجُو اللَّهَ وَالْيَوْمَ الْآخِرَ وَذَكَرَ اللَّهَ كَثِيرًا. Indeed, you have in the Messenger sallallahu alayhi wa sallam the best example for those who seek the pleasure of Allah in the last day and those who remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala much. And that requires knowledge for the Muslim to know the way of the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam in everything that we do in our life. The Sahaba radiallahu anhum, the early generations of Islam, they excelled and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala elevated their levels because of how much they were following the way of the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam. It was sufficient for them, it was enough for them to hear it once from the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Whether it's an ayah from the Quran or hadith of the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam, they established the pillars of ibadah in their hearts. We know that every ibadah has pillars to it. The ibadah can never be done unless the pillars of the ibadah is established. Like the pillars of salah and so on. If a person doesn't make ruku', doesn't recite Surah Al-Fatiha, his salah is not valid because these are arkan, pillars of the salah. They understood the pillars of the ibadah in the hearts, the love of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the fear of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala alone, hoping for the rewards from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They were sincerely devoted worshippers to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, following the way of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. When the hearts were like this, and they ran away from matters of shirk and so on, it was easy for them to do the actual deeds that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala ordered, and it was enough for them to hear it once from the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And there are many incidences like this, and that's why we need to follow the same path. And we need to seek help from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and to make dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guide us. Especially when people think it's difficult times, it's not really difficult times. The difficult times is when a person is disobeying Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. These are the difficult times. When a person compromises religion, these are the difficult times. But anything that a person do in this life for the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, this is a wonderful life. To establish the purpose of our life, and that is to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala alone. The Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, every morning after Salatul Fajr, one of the many du'as and supplications that he would make alayhi salatu wassalam, he would say, Allahumma inni as'aluka ilman nafi'an wa rizqan tayyiban wa amalan mutaqabbalan. Oh Allah, I ask you a benefiting knowledge and pure and halal provisions, and an accepted deeds. In another narration, وَعَمَلًا صَالِحًا, and a righteous deeds. This is what every human being needs every day. We need a benefiting knowledge, we need pure provisions and not haram, we need righteous deeds that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will accept. And this is one of the means to establish this in our life, that we do the good deeds. And the more the person is sincerely doing it for the sake of Allah, regardless of what's around them, then the rewards are given from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala alone. And the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam, whenever he would say something to the companions radiallahu anhum, they would immediately do it. Even if they were on something else for the most part of their life. Even if it's something recommended, they did the obligations, they stayed away from haram. And there are many narrations of this, one of which hadith or an action that we all know, something of the recommended acts. And it's not just about doing the recommended act, but how their behavior and their response to the statement of the Prophet ﷺ. This hadith narrated by or reported by Habiba radiallahu anha, the wife of the Prophet ﷺ, that the Prophet ﷺ said in the hadith in Sahih Muslim and others, من صلى 12 ركعة في يوم وليلة بنى الله له بهن بيت في الجنة. That whoever prays 12 rak'ah in a day and a night, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will build for such a person a house in Jannah. And these are the 12 rak'ah sunnah, not obligatory salah, but recommended salah. 2 rak'ah before Fajr, 4 before Dhuhr, 2 after Dhuhr, 2 after Maghrib, 2 after Isha. The point here, or a shahid, or why this is mentioned, is that the narrators of the hadith goes like this. Nu'man ibn Salim is the one that narrated the hadith from Amr ibn Aus, from Abbas ibn Abi Sufyan, from Habiba radiallahu anha. So when Habiba radiallahu anha, she mentioned the hadith, she said the hadith, she said, فَوَاللَّهِ مَا تَرَكْتُهُنَّ مُنْدُ سَمِعْتُهُنَّ مِنْ رَسُولِ اللَّهِ صَلَّى اللَّهِ عَلَيْهِ وسلم. She said, Wallahi, I never left these 12 rak'ah till once I heard it from the Prophet ﷺ, till now. That means every day she would do that. She never missed it. It was enough that she heard it once. And the same thing, the narrator from her, which is Abbas ibn Abi Sufyan, he said, مَا تَرَكْتُهُنَّ مُنْدُ سَمِعْتُهُنَّ مِنْ حَبِيبَ رَضِيَ اللَّهُ عَنْهَا. He said, I didn't leave these rak'at once I heard it from Habiba radiallahu anha. And Amr ibn Aus, the above narrator, he said, مَا تَرَكْتُهُنَّ مُنْدُ سَمِعْتُهُنَّ مِنْ عَبَّسَ ibn Abi Sufyan. He said the same thing, I did not leave these 12 rak'at once I heard them from Abbas ibn Abi Sufyan, the narrator of the hadith that he heard it from. And Nu'man ibn Salim, he said, مَا تَرَكْتُهُنَّ مُنْدُ سَمِعْتُهُنَّ مِنْ عَمْرُ ibn Aus. The higher narrator, he said, I did not leave these rak'at once I heard it from Amr ibn Aus. This is how they used not just to narrate the hadith, but they used to act according to the hadith. even if it's something recommended, then you can imagine how the life was when it comes to the obligations and staying away from haram. It was sufficient for them to hear it once. The hearts had the strength of an iman, with certainty in the rewards from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, seeking the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala alone. The matter was made easy for them. And with the dua and seeking help from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they were able to establish the deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in these counted days that we live on the face of earth. Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu, and the same thing as Abu Darda radiallahu anhu. Both of them, they said the same thing when the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam told them to do three things. Awsani Khalili alayhi salatu wasalam, he said that my friend, the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam, told me to do three things: to fast 3 days every month, to pray Salatul Duha, and to make witr before I go to sleep. The same hadith was narrated by Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu and Abu Darda radiallahu anhu. The point here is that both of them, they said, فَمَا تَرَكْتُهُمْ, I did not leave them whatsoever, and I would not leave them till I die. One time the Prophet ﷺ would say something to them, and they would immediately do it. And this is what's more important than the physical act, is how the level of submission, how the focus in their life is to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to fulfill the purpose of our life with the obligations, with staying away from haram, with doing recommended acts, with being patient with the harm that comes from others. This is part of the deen, as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala ordered the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam and ordered the believers. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله العظيم لي ولكم. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين والعاقبة للمتقين ولا عدوان إلا على الظالمين وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله اللهم صل وسلم وبارك عليه وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم. As we heard, we should never take ourselves away from always thinking about the purpose of this life, and everything in the deen of Islam has to be related to this. There's no contradiction. And once we live with this, that this is the purpose of our life, and that is to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Many people, their concern maybe is the actions or the outcome of their actions in this life. They want to see prosperity, they want to see establishments, they want to see harm pushed away, which is all nothing wrong with having this in one's heart. There's nothing wrong with that. But that's not the purpose of the life. The purpose of this life is to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala alone. Is that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is pleased with us. And the only way for a Muslim to do that is to follow the way of the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam, and to have these pillars of the ibadah established in the heart. That is the only one that we hope for the reward from is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. As Ali radiallahu anhu, he said, لا يرجون عبد إلا ربه. A slave of Allah, he should not hope for anyone, for anything except his Lord only. Don't make your hopes for anyone else on the face of earth. Hope only for the rewards from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and seek in the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala alone. وَلَا يَخَافَنَّ عَبْدٌ إِلَّا ذَنْبَهُ. And a slave of Allah should not fear anything but his sin. This is the most fearful thing to us in this life. Our sins that bring all kinds of evil things in this life and in the hereafter. So when the Muslim is focused, when the human being is focused on this, we hope the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala alone. We fear our sins more than anything else. Don't fear a human being. Human being cannot do anything. The sorcerers at the time of Musa alayhi salam, when Fir'aun threatened them that he would cut their hands and legs and take their wives and so on and so forth, what did they say to him very firmly, with certainty in their hearts? They did not get that terrifying feeling in the heart. They said, فَقْضِ مَا أَنْتَ قَاضٍ إِنَّمَا تَقْضِي هَذِهِ الْحَيَاةَ الدُّنْيَا. Rule whatever you want to rule. Decree whatever you want to decree. Make laws and legislations, whatever you want. You're only dealing with this materialistic life that we live in. That they worship Allah, they embrace the deen of Islam, seeking the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala alone, worshipping the creator of the heavens and the earth alone, and they took away from their hearts the fear of anyone, the hope for anyone to help them, except Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And that's why they were so much, whenever they hear something from the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, they would flee to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala by doing it, whether it's obligation or recommended and so on. And the same thing, this was passed on the next generation and so on. And if we go on with this can take a long time. Sufyan al-Thawri rahimahullah, for example, he said, ما سمعت حديثا من رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم إلا وعملت به. I never heard a hadith of the Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم unless I acted upon it. This is how the focus in our life. Imam Ahmad rahimahullah, and he is the one that had the Musnad. The Musnad is 40,000 or 30-something thousand hadiths in it. He said, ما كتبت حديثا. I did not write a hadith from the Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم إلا وعملت به ولو مرة واحدة. Unless I acted upon it, even if it's one time, something recommended or something that might be done only one time. He said, and there was a hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, and the Nabi ﷺ احتجم وأعطى الحاتم دينارا. He said that the Prophet ﷺ made hijama, and he gave the person that made the hijama for him 1 dinar, the coupling also. He gave him 1 dinar. He said, I kept on making sure that I want to do this till I made hijama, and I gave the one that made the hijama for me, I gave him dinar. Of course, the hadith doesn't mean that people should do it exactly like this. But you see as if it's a pledge that they had between themselves and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that they would follow the way of the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam to that extent. And that's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was pleased with them. Ayatul Kursiyya after each salah. Shaykh al-Islam rahimahullah, when his student Ibn al-Qayyim, he said, when he mentioned the hadith of the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam, that whoever recites Ayatul Kursiyya after each salah, the only thing that would prevent him from entering Jannah is that he dies. The only thing that if he dies in that state, always reciting Ayatul Kursiyya after each obligatory salah, he will enter Jannah. So he said, I never left it once I heard it. Every salah, every deed, and this is when you look at the deeds in the deen of Islam, it is not once in a while. It is not that a Muslim is a Muslim once in a while. It's always repeated. 5 daily salah, adhkar every day. The fasting of the month of Ramadan keeps on coming every year, and so on. And the Prophet ﷺ, whenever he would do something, he would keep doing it in a regular basis. And he said, أَحَبُّ الْأَعْمَالِ اللَّهِ أَدْوَامُهَا وَأَنْقَلُّ. The most beloved deeds to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala are the ones that are done in a consistent manner, even if it's less, if it's from the optional acts of worship. And the worst thing for a person to do, and he will be among the worst people on the face of earth, of course after matters of shirk and so on, ذِي الْوَجْهَيْنِ, the one that has 2 faces. He meets people with 1 face, and he meets other people with another face. We only have 1 face, but only Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave us 1 heart. وَجَعَلَ اللَّهُ لِرَجُلٍ مِنْ قَلْبَيْنِ فِي جَوْفِهِ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did not give a human being 2 hearts in his body, only 1 heart. But when we live our life as if we have more than 1 heart, 1 heart in the masjid, 1 heart when we meet others, compromising the deen because we want people to be pleased with us. They can be pleased with you or not pleased with you. This is something secondary. The pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is what we seek. Being kind to people, it's part of the deen of Islam. To be having the good manners and so on, this is by following the way of the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam. But to change our faces, to compromise the deen of Allah, the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam, he said in the authentic hadith, in Sahih Muslim and others, إِنَّ مِن شَرِّ النَّاسِ يَوْمَ الْقِيَامَةِ عِنْدَ اللَّهِ ذَا الْوَجْهَيْنِ. One of the worst people, the most evil people in the day of judgment by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, ذِي الْوَجْهَيْنِ, the one that has 2 faces. الَّذِي يَأْتِي هَؤُلَاءِ بِوَجْهِ وَيَأْتِي هَؤُلَاءِ بِوَجْهِ. The one that faces these people with 1 face, and then he faces the other people with another face. Right? It's only 1 face. إسلام الوجه لله تبارك وتعالى. To submit ourselves to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to be Muslims at all times, and to be patient with the orders of Allah. And one of which, where the Prophet ﷺ did that in Mecca, at all times, is to be patient with the harm that comes from others. This is part of the deen of Islam. To witness the actions of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. To witness that our sins is what brings the harm on us. To repent to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And whoever has these 2 faces, as another narration from the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that you would have 2 tongues in the hellfire, as it's mentioned in some of the authentic hadith. So the point here is to flee to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It is sufficient to hear it once. Umar radiallahu anhu, he narrated the hadith of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, إِنَّ اللَّهَ يَنْهَاكُمْ أَن تَحْلِفُوا بِآبَائِكُمْ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is forbidding you from swearing by your fathers and forefathers. They used to do that. The Arabs, they used to swear by their fathers and their forefathers, something that was installed in them out of the pride and so on. So the Prophet ﷺ, he said, Allah forbade you from this. This is one of the minor shirk. If you want to swear, if you have to take an oath by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala alone. Umar radiallahu anhu, he said, فَوَاللَّهِ مَا حَلَفْتُ I did not by Allah, I did not swear by my parents, لا ذاكرا ولا آثرا. I did not swear by my forefathers, whether to do it, or even narrating it from someone else. If he narrates from someone that person said, he did not even say that. So that his tongue would not say something that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forbade, even though it's permissible to narrate even al-kufr sometimes. But this is the level of submission that they used to have for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We can go on and on with that, but this is how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala elevated them. This is how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was pleased with them. And we are having this great opportunity in this life to be patient with the orders of Allah, to be obedient to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, seeking the help from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. اللهم اقسم لنا من خشيتك ما تحول به بيننا وبين معصيتك ومن طاعتك ما تبلغنا به جنتك ومن اليقين ما تهون به علينا مصائب الدنيا ومتعنا اللهم بأسماعنا وأبصارنا وقوتنا أبدا ما أبقيتنا واجعله الوارث منا واجعل ثأرنا على من ظلمنا وانصرنا على من عادانا ولا تجعل مصيبتنا في ديننا ولا تجعل الدنيا أكبر همنا ولا مبلغ علمنا ولا تسلط علينا بذنوبنا من لا يخافك فينا ولا يرحمنا اللهم اغفر للمؤمنين والمؤمنات والمسلمين والمسلمات الأحياء منهم والأموات إنك سميع قريب مجيب الدعاء أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله العظيم لي ولكم وصلى الله وسلم وبارك على محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم وأجمعين.